All right, man. Let's get ready to go live. Let me get a couple things together. Um, Shit, it's one of my first lives, man. It's one of my first lives. I think this needs to be higher. 1 second. Yeah, man, it's one of my first lives. So let's just see what's what. Let's talk about these 49ers. Let's talk about the off season. So I want to start going live with the peoples. I realize right now, it's my one of my first ones, so ain't gonna be nobody watching, but probably me and like maybe one of my daughters or something will be watching. But anyways, we gonna get into it, man, because uh that's it, man. Let's just talk about these Niners. Let's talk about the off season. Let's talk about what's happening. And hopefully some of y'all catch this later, man. If y'all know me, y'all know what it is. I'm a big time Niner fan. It's one of my first lives, and I just thought I'd do it. I got some time. Something I've been wanting to do. I want to start going live more, especially during the games. I think that would be really cool to interact with everybody during the games and going live. So I'm just starting to, I want to figure this out. I want to understand how this live works and get ready so when the season comes back around, I'm up and running. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be up and running. Anyway, speaking of the season, let's talk about what we're doing so far. It's the off season. 49ers, they I think they've had one of the better off seasons in the entire NFL. Starting off with hiring, Raheem Morris as we hired Raheem Morris as our coordinator, our defensive coordinator. Considering we had to leave and pivot off of Robert Saleh, I thought that was a good move. I thought that as far as what was available and what we're trying to do, I thought Raheem Morris was a very good signing, man. And what I like about him is he's a cornerback type of coach. So he's going to be able to coach up our cornerbacks. And we got someone by the name of Upton Stout that I believe is going to be very good, man. Upton Stout is going to benefit from having Raheem Morris. So is Green. I think he's going to benefit as well. And we all know the dog, the hyena, Diamond Lenore, he's already on. So it's just going to help him elevate his game even more. So way I look at it, man, the 49ers off the top, they set this offseason off the top. Like, look, we ain't playing no games. We're going to get people we need and people that's going to help us win. And that's what they did. They went out and got Raheem Morris. And I was very, very excited about that because as most 49er fans, man, I was so disappointed that we lost our guy, Robert Saleh, but we kind of knew could be a 1 or 2 year rental, and that's exactly what happened. So, we can't be too mad at it. I'm thankful for his time, and he injected some life into our defense, despite the fact that, we didn't have a lot of defensive players that we needed. Uh, this fool said, Damien Gaming, it caught my eye. You look like you date women who raise their legs to fart. Like, this is what this guy just said, and it's funny to me, man. That's why this internet shit is funny. I don't go live. I don't do a lot of stuff because you got people like this, man. Faceless fools that will come into your stuff and talk shit to you. But they would, in real life, they're probably just in their mother's basement typing away. That's all he's doing right now. I look, you talk about how I look. Come on, guy. Come on. You talk about how I look. Bruh, I'm married. I'm happily married. I don't care about how people think of how I look, man. My wife cares about how I look. But this is the funny thing about going live, and this is why I've been hesitant because I ain't with the games, man. I just want to talk football. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of little kids and a lot of people that like to just, talk their shit. But thank you for telling me what I look like, man. I appreciate that, bro. Anyway, let's get back to football, man. I gotta stay away from these type of comments, man, because like I said, I'm learning to navigate in this live world, and I'm the type of guy like you're not gonna talk shit to me and I'm just gonna ignore it. But I gotta learn to ignore people, you know, because they don't have any impact in this world or life. If you're a person that's going to a complete stranger's live and getting on there and talking shit and disrespecting him or whatever, that what kind of life do you have? So let's get on to it. Back to football, guys. So 49ers, like I said, they hired Raheem Morris. I'm getting a little, let me get a little set, man. But anyways, Raheem Morris, right? So we got him. Great pickup. It's going to help our secondary. And a lot of people are like, what I don't like about some of the 49er antagonists and some of even our own fans is we speak on our secondary. And yeah, they're not great. Our secondary is not great. But what you have to understand is our secondary is not great because they don't have a pass rush. If we had a pass rush with the current secondary that we have, I think they would be at least average or slightly above average. It's hard to be a good secondary when you're last in the league in sacks. If you're not sacking the quarterback, you're not putting pressure on the quarterback, well, yeah, the secondary is going to suffer. They got to guard elite athletes that are running 4.4 and 4.5 40s. Like, good luck with that. So the first thing is shore up the defensive line. You get the defensive line together, guess what? The secondary is automatically going to look a lot better. So that's the key. Is the defensive line. Our linebackers. I'm gonna talk about all that coming up. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the linebackers are set right now. They're going to be good. The defensive secondary, they're going to struggle unless we can get some help. But anyways, let me get back on track and let's talk about the offense first. Let's talk about the offense because what I believe, and I've said this a couple of times, man. What I said a couple of times is this offense, with what we have right now, we're going to be a top tier offense. We were a top tier offense last season. Understand what I'm saying, guys? We were a top tier offense last season with a bunch of makeshift wide receivers. We didn't have a clear wide receiver 2. Hell, we didn't even have a clear wide receiver 1 or 2. So when you don't have those things and you still happen to be a top 5 passing offense, that's very encouraging because guess what? Guess what we just added? We added Mike Evans, right? One of the best wide receivers in the history of the NFL. Now, yes, I get it. I understand. He's a little older. This isn't like we signed Mike Williams in 2021 or something. I understand that. But what you guys got to understand, too, is what Mike Evans presents. We're not looking for him to be 2021 Mike Evans. This offense, Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy, just them alone are going to produce numbers. They're going to throw people open. They're going to get it done, right? So we're not looking for Mike Evans to be 2021 Mike Evans. We're looking for Mike Evans to be a reliable third down, kind of like Jawan Jennings. We're looking for him to be that deep threat, that 50-50 ball that we just throw up. Because we all know Brock Purdy will throw that motherfucker up. One thing about Brock Purdy that you can either love or hate is he's going to throw that thing up. He is a gunslinger by nature. He is a gunslinger. So he's going to throw that ball up. And who else better in the entire NFL to throw it up to than Mike Evans? So we have Mike Evans on the squad right now, and he's one of the best 50-50 ball players in the history of the league. So we're not looking for him to just dominate, like every play. No. With this type of offense we have, we're just looking for him to get in where he fit in and produce when his number is called. and his number's going to be called a lot. So I'm really looking forward to it. Kyle Shanahan and Mike Evans in the red zone, and then when you have a Christian McCaffrey and you have a healthy a George Kittle, like how in the hell is the NFL going to guard those players in the red zone? And Ricky Pearsall, let's not forget about Ricky Pearsall. If we can just keep him healthy, he's a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. So it's like if you get Ricky Pearsall healthy, and then you have a Mike Evans, come on. It's gonna be tough sledding. And speaking of Mike Evans, let's talk about the other guy we picked up, Christian Kirk. Right? So when we picked up Christian Kirk, a lot of it caught a lot of people by surprise. It caught me by surprise as well. But the thing about Christian Kirk is he's a very good wide receiver. He's had some injury issues. He's had some things that's happened over the last season or two, but that doesn't take away the fact that he still can be a productive wide receiver. And the thing that I like about getting him, we're not looking for him to put up 1,200 yards receiving or 1,000 yards receiving. We're looking for him to be ready when his number is called. And his number is going to be called quite often in this offense. So I believe this Christian Kirk thing, it was a very great signing, somewhat underrated because, this guy, I don't have the numbers off the top, but in his last game that he played, which was a playoff game against the Steelers, he put up I want to say at least about 7 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown. Very productive. He's shown that he's a very productive wide receiver, and the 49ers just got him. And one thing about the 49ers is they know how to turn average receivers into very productive receivers in the Kyle Shanahan offense. Just go look, man. Just go look. The 49ers are set at right now with Adam Evans and Kirk. I think they had about as good as an offseason as you could have with the wide receiver position. So they handled their business there, and the next thing I wanted to talk about is Jordan James. We have Jordan James. He's up next. He's the backup running back. We let Brian Robinson Jr. go. I thought it was good. I thought it was good because I want him to go somewhere where he can be productive. I was pretty upset with how he was used last season. We just overutilized Christian McCaffrey, and I get it, man. I understand. From Kyle Shanahan's perspective, I understand why he does it because it's like no one can do what Christian McCaffrey does. Even just having him on the field, if you're not going to throw him the ball or do anything with him, that just puts the defense at a disadvantage because they have to pay attention to Christian McCaffrey. But at the same time, this has to be the season that Kyle Shanahan finally figures out how to utilize a 1-2 punch at running back. That's what we have to do. Jordan James is a very serviceable running back. And, he's young, he's raw, but he can get the job done. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Because now he's running back too. We have Garindo as well, but it appears Garindo has been in the doghouse. So at the end of the day, we're going to see what Jordan James is about. I seen him at Oregon. I seen what he could do. I liked it. But then again, this is the big boy league. So what he did at Oregon, it doesn't matter anymore. Can he do it for San Francisco? And that's what we're going to have to find out next season. And if we're going to be successful, then that's what we're going to need. We're going to need Jordan James to step it up and be a solid running back too. And speaking of stepping it up, Ricky Pearsall. That's another guy we got to have step it up. Ricky Pearsall, I believe when healthy and if healthy, he is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. And the numbers show it. When he started off the season, the first 4 or 5 games, when he was healthy, he proved that his numbers were damn near top 5, actually. So he proved that he can be a very serviceable wide receiver. And I think he's that good. He can be that good. But he has to get healthy, man. And that's the thing with him is he just can't stay healthy. If he could figure out a way to stay healthy, relatively healthy, at least I think he played, 5 or 6 games last season? Like, shit, can we just get at least 12, 13 games? We do that from Ricky Pearsall, he's going to be a top wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, he's that good. His speed, the way his separation, the way he comes out of his routes, his ball catching, like he is very good. There's a reason the 49ers picked him in the first round. Although a lot of us didn't agree, but there's a reason that they thought he was a first round talent. So this season is make or break for him. Either you're going to prove that you are, or you're going to prove that you're not, and probably just fall off into obscurity. So this season is huge for Ricky Pearsall, and I'm pulling for the kid because I got a lot of love for him, and I think he's a tough guy, but I just think he's also gonna have to prove that he can stay healthy. And speaking of getting healthy, man, it's Kittle, our guy Kittle. I'm hearing reports that Kittle can come out and be healthy and be ready for week 1. I don't know that I believe it because an Achilles tear, especially 31 or however old he is, like I just don't know how you bounce back from that quickly. But if anybody can do it, it's going to be Kittle, and we're going to need him to bounce back. And now I don't want him to rush back. I wouldn't mind him missing even the first month, the first 3 or 4 games, because I believe that Jake Tonjes, I know he got injured in the last game of the season in the playoffs, but they're saying he'll be ready. So with that being said, Jake Tonjes, he can carry the load. He's not a run blocker or a pass blocker like Kittle is. Jake Tonjes is not that. But one thing that Jake Tonjes does at a very good level, not an elite level like Kittle, but Jake Tonjes had about 5 or 6 touchdowns this season. He's a red zone threat, and considering we're going to see what happens with Kittle, and I hope that Kittle is going to be okay. But if we have to roll with Jake Tonjes the first, 4 or 5 games, then I'm with that because he's proven that he can do that. Now, as far as Jake Tonjes being a TE1, tight end one, I don't think that. But he can definitely fill in, and he can fill that role and be a threat in the red zone until we get Kittle back. And uh, like I said, man, our offense is stacked, guys. Our offense is stacked. I'm telling you, when you have Christian McCaffrey, you have Brock Purdy. Those are 2 elite players that are at the top of their field. George Kittle, that's the third one, top of his field, right? The key to next season is just the wide receivers. Is Ricky Pearsall going to get off? Can Mike Evans stay healthy? Is Christian Kirk going to be a contributor? And more importantly, can we get Jordan Watkins and Jacob Cowing to be contributors to this team? Those are our speedsters. Those are the guys that will take the top off. We need them to be healthy so we can present, we can present problems for the opposing defense. We don't do that now. We haven't done that in the last 2 or 3 years. We don't take the top off. We need some speedsters that you have to respect. So we're going to see if those guys can come in and do it. I don't know that they will. And, we'll see. But, next guy I want to talk about is Trent Williams. Trent Williams, right? I've made videos. I've made a few already saying that, this is just a lot of posturing. Trent Williams ain't going anywhere. And the reason I believe that is because you spending what you spending? You spending about $55 million a year on Brock Purdy, $55 million a season on your franchise quarterback, right? So when you think about that, you make that type of investment in a player, and you happen to have the best left tackle in the game, right? The best guy that can protect his blind side in the entire game. I know it's going to cost money, and I know, all that happens, but you got to go with it. You got to keep Trent. You can't have the best left tackle in the game that protects your $55 million a year investment, Brock Purdy. You can't let him go. And go look at the numbers. The 49ers offense, it tanks when Trent Williams is not in the game. It has tanked. So we got to keep that in mind. Like I've already said, Trent Williams ain't going anywhere. He's going to be a 49er. And that's why they moved the bonus to where they did, because they're giving themselves more flexibility because they're going to re-sign him. Trent Williams ain't going anywhere, and he doesn't need to. He's a Hall of Famer, and he protects our quarterback. The blind side of our quarterback. That's the most precious fucking protection you can have is the blind side of your quarterback. Because that's how your quarterbacks get hurt when they can't see their blind side. So you don't let Trent Williams go. He's going to be a Niner. I'm not worried about it at all. And I got a couple more things I want to talk about, man. Name a football player for an edit. Party. Right. Exactly, Paul. My bad. I've been reading I wanted to read the comments, but we had some fools in here earlier that was just saying some crazy shit, so I stopped reading them. But yeah, exactly, man. Purdy has a legit target in Evans, man. I don't, like I said, when you have Evans, you get a healthy Kittle, but then you have Evans, Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. It's not going to be a better red zone trio than that. And then, like we said, like Tonjes, he's more than capable as well. So there's not going to be a better trio or 4 or 5 players that are red zone threats than what we have. Even Purdy, now he's a red zone threat to run the ball in. We've seen him dug in and running the ball in and the option reads that he's doing now. So you throw that in the mix. We were one of the better red zone teams in the entire NFL last season. So, that's what I love about the 49ers. The previous season, we were one of the worst red zone teams. Last season, we became one of the best. So, we're making progression, and then we went out there and got one of the better red zone targets in the entire NFL and Mike Evans. So that was great. Just to touch on a couple other things real quick, man. We got Greenlaw. I thought that was an amazing pickup because it was cheap. And this is a guy that's motivated, and he's back home. He's back where he wants to be. He's back with his road dog with Fred Warner. So I expect these two guys to set the tone. And I also believe that they have one of the better linebacker rooms in the entire NFL, man. I mean, when you look at Dre Greenlaw, you look at Fred Warner, and then you're talking about D. Winters. He's ascending. You understand what I'm saying? And then you talk about Nick Martin. Like we have a very good linebacking room, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do, man. Right, Paul, Silverback ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere, man. The 49ers, they do that. And I don't disrespect the 49ers. I don't talk shit on them because they got a job that I can't do. I'm not qualified for. So the way I operate is I'm not going to sit here and criticize and disrespect people that do a job I'm not qualified for and that I just don't do. Now, yeah, I'm going to sit here and be like, man, I wish I could have did this or did that. But you're not going to hear me disrespect us too much. But if the 49ers don't re-sign Trent or if they trade him, that might be the first time y'all hear me disrespect him because that should not happen. Trent is a Hall of Famer, and he has to protect Brock Purdy. So, that being said, man, this is one of my first lives. I ain't going to hold nobody up anymore. I'm going to try to go on again here soon. But I just wanted to get a feel of it and see how it works. I got to do better with reading the comments and responding. So, my bad if y'all said something and I didn't catch it. But I'm preparing for next season because I want to bring y'all some of the best content because I love this shit. And I'm not bringing people. When I look at this stuff, it's like people create content, right? But I don't create content like that. I don't create controversies. I don't talk about shit just to bring it up and create a conversation. I talk about what's happening and we're going to react to it. I'm not a clickbaiter. I'm not out here pandering. We just going to talk sports, football, and we're going to react to what's happening. So I appreciate y'all tapping in with me, man, because I'm telling y'all, I watch everything, man. And one of the things that I can appreciate about what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to talk football, and I'm not trying to pander and just, like and subscribe and beg people. Like, if you guys appreciate what I'm doing, they'll subscribe and they'll watch. So I appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna tap in with y'all here soon, but I just wanted to, get a feel for how this live go. I have more shit to talk about, but we already been on about 30 minutes. So I don't want to take too much more of anyone's time. Bang Bang 90 gang, like you said, Paul. Hey, I'm gonna tap in with me a little later, man. I'm gonna start building this live stuff, man, and we gonna. Hey, the next season we really gonna be active. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I get it. I'll get with y'all later, though. All right, bang bang.